What's up everybody, Kinetic here. I've got my challenge builds finally ready for you guys. It's taken me the good part of a few days now, doing a lot of theory crafting to try and come up with something that is going to be challenging and really change the gameplay for you in Diablo 3. I think this is really going to appeal to people that have already played up to 60, maybe gone into Paragon levels, maybe are interested in making a new character, or are just looking for something different, something to actually make the game a little bit more challenging and change the gameplay in a very interesting way, I think. The challenge build is, as it says, a challenge. So let me just put this down as a disclaimer. If you're looking for a speed build, if you're looking for a farming build, if you're looking for something that makes your character more powerful, this is not it. This is the opposite of that, actually. Let me kind of take you to the core idea of this. Besides making it challenging, also a big part of these builds for each of the classes that I'm going to show you are focused around kind of powering down your character, taking your character out of the spotlight and instead putting more emphasis and more power into your follower and making them a more interesting presence in your battles. I think that for many of us, when we started playing Diablo 3 and we had the followers, it was a nice little cute thing to have somebody running around with you while you're, you know, running through the dungeons of hell and stuff like that. But I think quickly most of us ended up just kind of leaving them behind, not really caring about them, you know, not really caring what rings or, you know, even that their weapon is 10 levels lower than they are and stuff like that. We didn't care because they didn't really feel like an important part or even a valuable part of the experience of the game after a while. And then, like I said, we end up leaving them behind practically literally, as we don't even bother hiring them when we go into the much higher monster powers because we're just looking for loot, right? It's a loot hunting game, and they're not really helping with that in most cases. And that's the way I've seen it. The way I've seen it for myself as time has gone by, I noticed that I just don't care as much about the followers. They don't seem as important. I look at people's videos and live streams around the internet, and I see them too. They don't even bother bringing their follower anymore. So this is a way, like I said, to kind of bring them back into the battle and to make it a little bit more interesting to have them there. I guess you could kind of look at this as your character will actually act more like a support character. If I could just kind of go back and give you like a little bit of a recap, a little bit of a history on the concept of this build and how it's evolved, then I think you will have a better understanding and a better appreciation for what the end result has been. Originally, this was actually kind of inspired right here by my Demon Hunter. I noticed that with the Demon Hunter, usually we go out there, we're guns blazing, you know, with our crossbows and stuff like that, flipping around, spinning and all this stuff, and it's really exciting to look at. It's really, you know, cool to see them, you know, disappear and reappear because of, like, you know, shadow forms and stuff like that. And I also noticed that they have a lot of tools that not a lot of people use that are really good at assisting damage, not as direct, but just kind of like side damage. So for example, the sentry, I don't see a lot of people use the sentry or traps or a lot of these kind of damage enhancements or enemy debilitating kind of abilities. And so I started to explore there and experiment with the Demon Hunter first. And so that's why you see down there on my action bar, I've got sentry, I've got spike trap, smoke screen, that's it. I've got caltraps, I've got marked for death, and vault. And the way this ends up playing out is that instead of me doing any shooting, because I can't do any shooting whatsoever with this Demon Hunter, I can't shoot a single shot. The only thing that I can do is put down traps and set up the field so that way the scoundrel can actually do the shooting for me. He'll be in the mess of it, like blazing away with his crossbow, and my sentries are going to assist him, support him and his efforts to be able to bring down the demons. So let me stop standing around the town and I'll actually show you what this will look like. This will be a little demonstration for the Demon Hunter This is going to be 6 videos in total. This first introductory video, and then there's 5 videos, one for each class, where I go and I'll talk exactly about the skills, the runes that I use, the passives, the followers that I recommend, and break down each class in a lot of detail. But let me just show you, like I said, a little bit of kind of the concept and the way that this ends up playing out. So typically, with each of these classes, what you will have are just some basic tools to take down your basic enemies, right? And your damage is really going to be... Yeah, we've got a rare pack up there. Your basic damage is going to be good for basic monsters, but what you will probably have with most of these classes, when you actually do find a very strong and powerful monster, it's going to take more effort out of you, it's going to take more of your resources, and you're going to have to probably blow some cooldowns if you have heavy cooldowns in order to bring down those rare monsters. So typically what I see is people, you know, they just have unlimited power, you know, like the Emperor in Star Wars, and they don't even care about, you know, using cooldowns because they've got all these other insanely powerful abilities. You're gonna want to save those now. The Damien Hunter isn't so much of an example of that, but I will show you in, for example, like the Monk version, how important saving your really powerful abilities is. So let's get started. The way that I'm going to play with this build is I'm first going to quickly set down sentries because I need to get that damage rolling. I'm going to set down the... okay, and then they're going to chase me. So I'm going to use Caltrops to kite them around. And what I want to do is I want to kite them through all of this stuff that I'm laying down. These guys are insanely fast, so it's really going to make me use my Caltrops probably very often. And you're going to have to manage your resources a lot here. As you can see, I'm already well below halfway with my hatred and my discipline.
Again.
Going to use the vault to bounce around the dance floor here and try and soak up those health globes while I kite these guys around. And you can see there's Lyndon. He's really the highlight of the fight now, not me and anything that I'm doing. It's all him right now. Accidentally set down my my mark of death right there too many times. But I think I've got 3 sentries still up right now. Yep, one almost in every corner. And we are slowly whittling away at these guys. There's Lyndon. He's just like having a blast, pew-pewing away like without a care in the world. You can actually look at his damage there. It's pretty decent. I mean, it's almost as much as what the sentries are doing. And that's because I've given a lot of attention instead of to my character's gear, but instead paid a lot of attention to my followers' gear. Let me actually show you what I've got going on here. With some of these combinations of your hero and your follower, what you can really might do, which may make it easy for you to gear up your follower, is just take like your amulet and maybe your rings, if they are the stat that we're going to talk about, that's good for your follower. So for example, alright, now normally what I would do is maybe I would have Dex rings on my Demon Hunter and maybe a Dex amulet or something like that. Well, Lyndon needs dexterity to deal out damage, so to make it real easy to gear, just take off your amulet, take off your rings if they are dex, and go ahead and throw those on Lyndon. You might have to do some shopping for these builds. I'm not going to lie, there is going to be maybe some shopping involved, especially if you haven't geared your followers at all, but the end result is pretty decent. You can see the stats there. I've put in gems for the amulets, rings, for the gear and stuff like that, and a pretty damn decent scoundrel token there sitting in that slot. Now, I do kind of strongly recommend these followers that I will talk about in the videos for these classes, but for the most part, if you really feel like instead of bringing maybe the Scoundrel, maybe you want to bring the Templar, or maybe you want to bring the Enchantress, I suppose that should be pretty okay, but there's sort of a reason, and I will talk about each of the classes again and their follower combinations and why I think that they are the best. But just wanted to throw that out there, that it's really important that you give them really good gear in order to bring up their damage, because you're no longer doing really good damage yourself, so you're going to need some more supplementary damage for these fights. And for yourself, I mean, despite the fact that I'm wearing all these yellows, I think that you will probably want to just stick with blues. If you're on legendaries and you're 60 or something like that, you'll probably want to go visit Hadrig and just tone it down. Just have him, you know, make some blues and a couple of yellows for you, something like that, and stack vitality. Try to stack vitality. And the reason why I say vitality is because, again, you want the power to go to your follower. What you want is survivability, because these fights are going to be longer, they're going to be harder, especially if you're pushing monster power, and you're going to need that life and that time in order for all of your tricks and for your follower to bring down these enemies. As you could probably see already from this, the fights have been extended quite a bit. This is actually this is Nightmare, right? This is Nightmare on Monster Power 5, and I think that it could be pushed a little bit more if you really want to struggle with each encounter more and to face an even greater of a challenge. Go ahead and bump that monster power up and give yourself more of a challenge. If these builds for some reason act a little bit too hard for what you are capable of doing, then there are probably a couple of things that you could do. For example, you could probably give yourself better gear. I might have a recommendation for better, maybe a more powerful skill that you can use that won't be too OP. But again, that's the thing. We don't want our characters for these builds to be super powerful. We want to be gimped. That's the reason and the way that this becomes challenging. Oh yeah, and I need more discipline. I'm injured. This is not good. I'm trying to. I got eaten alive. I got eaten alive. Sometimes it's a little. I don't mean to make excuses, but sometimes it's a little difficult to do commentary and play these builds at the same time. If I were to sit here and really concentrate, I could probably get it done a lot better. So let me shut up and actually do that. But you can see what I'm doing here. I'm still waiting. I'm dragging these guys through the damage fields here. If they've made it past, go ahead and vault back to the other side. Drag them back through your cult trap. Drag them back through your spike trap if it still hasn't triggered or still has charges. And drag them back through, of course, through the sentries.
Not enough discipline.
Through the mark of death if you have the discipline to set it there. And rinse and repeat.
My strength is back.
And eventually, eventually, how many sentries? We've got 2 sentries down. That should be enough. And down finally goes that that monster. I shouldn't have got myself trapped up there. That's probably why I died. But it's to me, this is a lot more exciting to me than just face rolling through Diablo. I once made a joke video about how Diablo is a face roll game. A lot of people took offense to that, but I think in the end a lot of people will probably agree with me now that Diablo really isn't that challenging, and despite the presence of these followers, they're not really that helpful. Well, this is a remedy for that. This is a remedy for that. This will definitely make it more challenging. This is going to take the power out of your hands and make you really struggle for each and every fight. And I have found, honestly, like, especially going through some of my other characters, after I'm approaching now 60 on my wizard, I started rolling other characters, and it felt so just like a rerun episode of what I had basically just done. I mean, of course, going through all the same content, but almost in the exact same feeling. It's not really challenging, and I don't even know how else to say it other than that. So this, to me, I think makes the game a lot more interesting. If you're not in a big hurry to level, your characters or whatever, and you want to feel more of a challenge, then this is definitely going to do that. There's a basic encounter right there, and just gonna set up some stuff here for them to run through. I still got this sentry back here that I can play with, which is good. I'm gonna wait and see if they keep coming this way. Sit down a cult trap and vault to the other side. Drag them right back through. Drag them right back through. Slow them down. And punish them. Punish them.
Well again.
and kill them. Now, even though I didn't really consider it too much in terms of the overall viability in any way, any difficulty, and in either normal or hardcore mode, I really feel like if you customize these builds just a little bit to your liking, to maybe squeeze out a little bit more damage or a little bit more difficulty, what you can do is you can start to play with more, like I said, that monster power. These are, I think, very capable of being used on different difficulties, and maybe if you are ballsy enough, maybe even try them on your hardcore character. I'm actually going to probably make a hardcore character for one of these classes and see how viable that these builds are, but I think that they are certainly viable. It's not just normal mode that I've played around with these builds in, and I've tried multiple monster powers, you know, depending on each of the classes and how I felt that they were going, and the results have been surprisingly good, I think. Got these little imps, drag them through the caltraps, and I'm just going to disappear this time. You're going to have abilities that deal damage, you're going to have abilities that support your follower, and you're going to have those oh shit abilities that will either save your ass or deal out tons of damage for a high resource cost in order to save your ass. And these little fuckers do not want to die. That's why, because you got this damn thing over here. Of course. That's my fault for neglecting this thing. Sit down another trap. And hopefully we bring this damn thing down. Come on. There we go. Each battle feels a lot more meaningful to me compared to practically the almost automated feeling of playing Diablo after a while. It's just, you know, you're just clicking buttons and shit's blowing up. And I think that gets really boring for a lot of people, especially for me. I'm really paying a lot more attention. Even though this is normal mode, it feels rather hardcore. I mean, obviously my character, my demon hunter here, isn't going to die permanently because this is in fact normal mode, but I do feel a sense of almost like anxiety and a little bit more stressed out about each encounter, and that's good. That achieves one of sort of the goals that I had in mind for these builds, is to make you shit yourself just a little bit, maybe, especially if you start pushing that monster power up. And I think that is pretty much it for this introduction video, guys. Oh, I think I forgot to mention, you're going to want to, at the very least, start these builds at level 30. Anything earlier than that, you probably won't have the passives, you probably won't have the skills, or any of the other little tricks that make these builds even capable of getting started. I tried with all of these classes to to build very well-balanced builds, and I found that each and every time it all started from 30 and up, when they were actually capable of doing what they need to do to make these what they should be doing. Again, try to keep your gear in check and try to do your best to give your follower the attributes that they need. So if it's a scoundrel that you're bringing along for the class, you're going to want dexterity. If it's the enchantress, you're going to want to give her a lot of intelligence, and if it's the templar, give him a lot of strength. Nothing else. Those are the only stats that you should be looking for and trying to give to your followers. If you give them health, then yeah, they might survive longer, but they're not really a part of the damage meters anymore. But I guess that if you change the followers and you try to go with something different other than the ones that I recommend, then you may have to actually be more concerned about maybe adding vitality. For example, the wizard has the templar, because once I was in hell difficulty with my wizard and the scoundrel, forget it. The scoundrel was just getting his ass handed to him. There was nothing I could do to keep him alive, and so I ended up going with the templar for the wizard. That's about it. I think that's all I've got to say for you guys for this introduction video to this challenge build. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Again, there will be 5 other videos, each discussing all of the different classes, the followers that I recommend, and all the details for each one. So click in, I think, the description. Yeah, I'm going to leave in the description of this video links to all of the different classes and their builds, so you can just click on those and it will take you and give you all the details there. I'm looking forward to hearing some feedback from you guys. I really want to know what you think. Like I said, I spent quite a few days and a lot of hours, some sleepless nights even, putting these together. It was a challenge for me to put together, lots of fun to actually make this all happen, and yeah, the end result has been pretty entertaining for me. I hope that you guys enjoy them as well. Click the like button to support these videos, and yeah, maybe in another week or two I will have a different challenge build to present to you guys. And stay subscribed, of course, if you want to see more Diablo 3 content here on my YouTube channel. My name is Kinetic, and I'll see you guys next time.